remember, a pimp is only as good as his product. See? And his product is...
Yeah, now after all of the whole hopper stuff and, getting past all of the deal offers and finally signing the deal, I ended up signing to me, just to make it clear, I never signed to nobody. That's what actually happened with my career. We started to do a deal with a company called Big City. They went ahead and pressed, they loved the album, they went ahead and pressed it, went and did a video. They did all of this before they finished contract negotiations with the other independent, which was the investor that came along and invested in me. They ended up finding out that the investor hadn't cleared any other samples that were on my album, and they had dropped the album out worldwide. So now you got people whose music were on the album. Back then, samples were real popular. So you got people whose music is on the album seeing that this album is selling a lot of records fast, and they ready to demand millions. So the two companies had a major falling out behind that. The label Big City was expecting the label the independent that I was messing with to bring the project to them masters ready, meaning samples cleared, everything done. Then they were gonna do the rest, press it up, do the videos, put out the music. When the issue with the samples came up, the independent didn't want to pay because he started to see that it was going to be millions of dollars that these artists whose music we're using were probably going to be trying to charge. So they had a big falling out, and me, as the artist in the middle, we artists always suffer. It don't have to be no fault of your own. You're the artist in the middle. You got two record labels beefing, and they just break parts. They just break camp on each other. You know what I mean? It got ugly to where threats were being thrown and this and that, but at the same time, I'm still just the artist in the middle. My music is sitting out here floating in the middle of the air with no promotion, with no nothing. Luckily it was shipped everywhere, and I kept moving and doing the things that I was doing, meaning doing shows and staying involved in the industry, to where 20 years later today, I got a major fan flow, worldwide. But it was a rough situation for me back then. I got fucked out of all my money, basically, you know what I mean? I didn't really get too much credit for my album. I don't know who collected the money on the album. I don't know none of that. Had an attorney back then who kind of screwed me too, because he was doing another deal through the same label with an artist by the name of Howard Hewitt, which is a member of Shalimar Singer. He had him, and they were doing a deal with my same label. And then me, I was a young artist at the time, didn't know anything about the business, didn't know the legal ins and outs, you know what I mean? So I kind of stepped away from the rap business for a while, and just did shows here and there. Never really worked on new material for about 8 to 10 years. You know what I mean? It wasn't that long. I'll say 4 years. The next project I worked on was in '97. After the Do It at Will project, Just Another Day in Compton, it got a big burst immediately. So that's how I knew the record was selling. I charted it at damn near gold. So with that being said, I knew I had something to work with out here. So I kept doing music over the years periodically, but I also jumped into other fields. Since I did my album, I've been a case manager, a truck driver, a heavy equipment operator, a real estate agent. I went back to school for a few things because I felt like, as a grown man, we always have to have backup plans. You can't stay in one place. You can't just be starstruck on music and feel like, okay, this is for me. This is the only way I got to survive. No, you can't do that. You can't limit yourself to that. You boys out here who trying to rap and think that rap is your only way, let me tell you the same way they tell sports players, keep going to school and keep getting you a backup plan, because your knees can go out just like your voice can go out. Anything can happen. You can not be able to write no more, or you can get old and irrelevant to the game. Then what's gonna happen? Then you gonna go try to work for McDonald's? Nah, man. Have a backup plan, my nigga. So I dropped out of the game and had a few backup plans. Did everything I wanted to do. Started raising my kids, and I decided to jump back in the game in '97. In '97, I did some songs with my boy Chill. You know, Compton's Most Wanted. We went to school together too, me, Chill, and 8. Shout out to my boy MC8 and my nigga Chill. You know what I mean? Free Chill, baby. Yeah, we had a long-standing history from school days and all that stuff, so I started doing music with Chill, and we were friends. We wasn't just artists together, we were friends. So came up with some new heat. That's when I came with my songs Bring the Rain, Who's a Rider, and Way Too Shady. At the time, I was also running with my boy Trey D from the East Side. That was my dog, man. Free Trey D too, man. You know what I mean? I was running with Trey D from the East Side, so he influenced me to do some more music and stood behind me on my music, you know what I mean? Even took it into a few folks to hear, you know what I mean? I could have signed a deal back then, but then we started working with the East Side project. First the LBC Crew project, you know, which these are my boys, so I'm Snoop, all of them my boys. So never missed opportunities out there, meaning I was always in the midst of everything cracking. So for me to jump back in now, 20 years later, it's not a jump back in. I've always been here. You know, I just never really, another thing about me, I never really cared about the fame, the cameras, the people knowing my name. You know, I never really cared about that kind of stuff. So the things that excite everybody else about this industry don't excite me, and I'm not a very materialistic person either. You know, money don't even excite me. I survive to make money, not make money to survive. You know what I mean?
I called my homie, what's the hap? He said I'm on Spruce by my mom's house shooting crap. I'm on my way, I'm crossing the Willowbrook tracks, bad bitch, white, the Compton court.